Hi, I'm Peter Birch and welcome to my channel. Today guys, we're talking about these Solomon Island prehensile tailed monkey skinks. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. For everyone else, let's get down and check these awesome critters out. Alright, so today we're learning about these beautiful skinks. And we're here with my mate Matt from SASOBEK Reptiles. And I guess you're a little bit of an expert, right? You've got a couple here. You're working with a decent collection of these beautiful little critters. So Matty, tell us a bit about these beautiful creatures. Something you've learnt by keeping them.
Okay, so I did start a couple years ago collecting my collection of Monkey Tailed Skinks. Currently we have 37 Monkey Tailed Skinks here, which is one of the largest collections in the United States. Monkey Tailed Skinks to me are one of the most amazing animals on the planet. So Monkey Tailed Skinks, or Prehensile Tailed Skinks, or Corucia zebrata, scientific name.
Getting all fancy now.
Yeah, I know, getting all fancy. It's one of the only scientific names I actually know, so I got to throw it around every chance I get. So Monkey Tailed Skinks are very, very interesting animals. They actually live in social groups called circuluses in the wild, come from the Solomon Islands. So they are native to a bunch of the different islands in the Solomon Island chain. Not a whole lot of studying has been done on these guys just because nobody's really been that into them. Even some of the books that you'll see on these guys don't really have a lot of great information on them. They're very amazing animals. As you can see, they've got this really crazy tail that'll actually curl around things. That's the prehensile tail that they got, like a monkey.
Hence the name, right?
Yes, hence the name. They, like I said, they live in social groups, being all cute. She was like, Peter, touch my neck.
Yeah.
So, just like leopard geckos, these guys can be highly polygenetic, where you get some with like little black dots on them, some will have like stripes on them. Here in the colony that we have a bunch of different looking colors, so we'll see how genetic any of that stuff is. Usually there'll be one male and maybe a couple females, and then all the babies. Speaking of babies, they have live babies. They can have 1 to 2. Usually it's 1, but sometimes they'll have twins. There have been reports of 3 to 4, but I don't know how often that actually happens. You usually have 1 at a time, and it's a much larger baby. Babies can be born about 100 grams, which whenever you have a 500 or 600 gram female, that's, you know, a lot of their body weight. It's like giving birth to like a 6-year-old. Their gestation period is 9 months, just like a human, which is pretty cool. And they actually communicate by tongue flicks. I don't know if you can see, but she'll actually do some tongue flicks, which is pretty cool. They also make a little bit of a noise, just kind of like a pss, 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 they use for communication as well. So yeah, there's just so much about these animals that is awesome.
I guess the time that we spent together with these animals, watching them, for me, the correlation, I guess, for Australians would be, as far as I'm concerned, it's like an arboreal, long-tailed shingleback lizard. There's so many similarities with these guys, you know, as in diet, as in the way they live in family groups, like a complex family group, as well as the fact that, you know, the shape of them is so similar as well. Obviously, you know, they've got a big fat head, shinglebacks, and a big fat tail. They use that as a mimicry thing, but, you know, it's still got the big shaped head, this long cylindrical body, but the legs are completely different, right?
Yeah, these guys have a lot longer legs than most skinks, and they have these long fingers that have very, very sharp nails on the end that they can literally be turned totally upside down and just be able to hold on, which is incredible. I mean, that was literally without warning, and she didn't even have to readjust herself at
Didn't
all.
even flinch one bit. Now, the cool thing that you've supplied all these different enclosures, and I mean, for us Australians, we can't get this stuff, right?
Yeah.
This stuff is just absolutely amazing. It's lightweight, it's hollow, and it's just cork bark. I tell you what, if we could get this would be absolutely amazing. But don't worry, guys. There are artificial alternatives, and I've seen a lot of the artificial alternatives used back home, which is the drainage pipe. We use this for like a lot of our arboreal monitors, so exactly the same aspect. And that's the cool thing about traveling and seeing other people's collections, seeing how other people do very similar things with very similar animals from all across the world. Now, this is one of the cool things, you know, like Matty was saying, you know, is that prehensile tail is a lot more prehensile than you think. It's not just like, I guess we have things like, you know, the pink tongue skinks and their tails do grip on. These are basically very, as soon as you touch them, they respond really quickly to wrapping around your hand. And the other cool thing that I noticed in a couple of mornings being here, you go out and the first thing these guys is they'll come up to you and they almost like they're interested or they're intelligent enough to know that there may be a threat, but it's all out of interest, like this girl, like she's tongue flickering. It's not actually a sign of aggression.
Keep your hand even further away, you can see how strong they are.
Oh yeah, so they definitely have that arboreal aspect about them, but you can see, like, it looks like she's going to go in for a bite like that, but really she's not interested or she's aggressive. She's just feeling out the area. Maybe she likes a bit of Australian, or maybe likes the Vegemite sandwich, I don't know. Yeah, she's just, and they do have a really powerful bite. I mean, she's just having a little nibble there. That's nothing aggressive at all. She's just finding finding out what's going on, because at the moment, Matt's in the process. Basically, a lot of these are gravid. So basically, these girls are coming towards the end of that process where they're actually going to start producing babies.
How thick she is down
and then that's the other thing too, like shingleback lizards, have 1 to 2 babies typically. Some of them have, in extreme circumstances, could have 3 to 4. Very similar sort of reproductive output for these guys. Now, let's talk about diet. What's the diet of these big, chunky, scary-looking lizards?
So even though they do have a really powerful bite, they actually eat all vegetation. They have teeth that are specially designed, and their jaw power is actually designed to chew through a lot of like plant life. One of the things that they love to eat is actually pothos, which is actually toxic to most animals, but these guys can actually eat it no problem. Here in captivity, we actually feed them different leafy greens. We feed them carrots, peas. They love green beans and a bunch of other different vegetables. We kind of keep the fruit to a minimum, but they love mango and papaya as well. And we have a pelleted diet here that's mainly for tortoises called Missouri tortoise chow that we actually soak in water. That is like their favorite thing to eat.
It's cool looking at the animals, but let's talk about the fact that you've got them in small populations, small little family groups, like you said. So what's the smallest family group you've got?
The smallest family group that I have is a 1.1.
So that's 1 male to 1 female.
Yes.
What's the largest?
The largest group that we have is probably a 1.4 back here.
Okay.
I actually have a even weirder thing. That I have a 2.1 that lives together, and the
there we go.
males actually are perfectly fine with each other.
Okay, so they are quite tolerant. Once again, very similar to shinglebacks. The other cool thing I wanted to say was, you've got these different family groups, and you've got quite a few different types of family groups working all over the place, and you've had success because you've bred babies, right?
Yes.
So it's not just about me chucking animals in a cage and I know what's best because I bought them from PetSmart or whatever. You've actually done it. You've produced babies.
Yep.
What have you learnt from the babies? Like maternal care. That's another cool thing I like talking about.
So the maternal care for these guys is incredible. I actually can tell whenever there's a baby in the cage because the mom will try to kill me, actually. And they are very, very protective of their baby. Even the males will be protective, and actually even other females that are in the same group will actually be highly protective of their...
So the whole family protects the one baby.
Yeah, the whole family protects the baby, which is pretty incredible.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but they are absolutely gorgeous lizards. I tell you what, Maddie, thanks so much for showing us today.
And actually, we might as well get the baby out.
Let's get the baby out. Let's get the baby out. Let's do this. Here, I'll hold this. You get the baby out. I mean, how can you not fall in love with these gorgeous lizards? I mean, look at this. It's long, it's thin, it's slender. Look at that tail, guys. I wonder why they call them prehensile tailed skinks. Oh man, look at that. Isn't that drop dead gorgeous, guys? Look at that.
So this is about a 4-month-old baby, and as you can see, they are huge comparative to one that'll be basically breedable size. This one is probably still it could be about a year away from breeding, but she could have a small pup.
So how big is that when it actually is born?
So this one was probably about right around 90 grams whenever it was born.
Nice.
And I mean, now it's probably 150 grams, so it's gotten a little bit thicker since it was born.
So it's probably grown about a third of its body size.
Yeah. And as you can see, like how dark this one is compared to that one, pretty incredible. The difference in coloration that you can get comes from a darker group.
Okay, I was going to ask the question whether it was coming from a darker group or it was a juvenile thing where it changes colour as it gets a little bit older.
Actually, here, put that one back.
Put this one back? But she's been so beautiful. She's been so cute. Oh man, check this out, guys. Look at the size difference. These things are monsters, right? We were actually playing with quite a placid animal earlier.
Yeah.
But these are giants.
Yeah, so this is mom, and this is dad, and that's the baby.
So you can see why they're so dark, yep.
Mom was a little miffed that we got her out.
So she's a little bit upset. We've got the bub. And that's the thing too, like you were saying, like the maternal aspect. How long do they typically look after them, or they just maintain and stay in the family groups? Yep.
Yeah, as you can see, she's a little bit more temperamental right now.
Yep.
And she actually just was looking at her baby, if you saw that.
Yeah. So as long as she can see a baby, everything's cool. Yeah. Get away from that strange human.
And then dad's usually pretty chill.
So they do typically, they're not very sexual dimorphic, are they? They're very similar as adults.
I mean,
some of these we've seen males much bigger, but these pair are very similar.
Yeah. So usually females will get larger. They'll get thicker back through the back right here. Males will have a larger head. See how kind of slender
he's a little bit on the
down
slender,
through there. And then you can also sex them. You can see the hemipenal bulges if you look from the side. So the biggest thing is they just have to be really relaxed, and then you
Yes.
can actually see the hemipenal bulge from the side, and then females, it'll literally, like, right after the vent,
Yep.
it will curve straight up.
Just disappears, yeah.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. I don't know about you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Make sure you check out Maddie at SASOBEK Reptiles, Facebook, Instagram. And don't forget, believe it or not, he is on the YouTube, so make sure you hunt him down and find him. I tell you what, I'm going to be sticking around playing with these gorgeous little monkey-tailed skinks. Till next time, thanks for watching.